Hi friends! We have a very cool upcoming project that you can participate in. Our lovely listener Helen is a creator of a virtual reality art exhibition called Watch This VR Space. And she was very kind to invite all of you, our podcast listeners, to be the exhibiting artists at a very special Drawing Club podcast virtual exhibition. All you need to do is send us one of the pieces that you created while listening to our podcast, and Helen will build a virtual gallery just for us, where anyone from anywhere can see all of our art, and we can all hang out together at our virtual opening party. So here's how you can participate. You need to send us your art in PNG or JPEG format to a special email address that we created for the exhibition. It's drawingclubvr@gmail.com. And please just send one piece per artist and make sure to include your name, the title of your work, the year completed, and your Instagram handle in the message. And also if you want the materials that you use to create the artwork. The deadline to send in the work is Sunday, 14th of June at 8 p.m. Helsinki time. The virtual gallery can only fit 40 to 50 pieces, and we will select the artist on first come, first serve basis so that any of you can participate regardless of your style or skill level. So hurry up, send us your work, and hopefully we can see you at the exhibition opening party. And if you want more information on that, just go to our Instagram profile, and all the instructions are also written there.
We have another exciting announcement. We are now on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, it is a platform where you can support your favorite creatives with a monthly pledge that you can change or delete anytime. Our Patreon page will work as a tip jar with one tier that is €2 a month or more if you wish. The money will go towards paying for our podcast hosting fees. In the future, we hope to also create exclusive content for you on Patreon. So, if you enjoy listening to our podcast, consider supporting us on Patreon. And now to today's episode.
Hi friends, my name is Sasha.
And I'm Mia.
And this is the Drawing Club podcast. Welcome back to the new episode.
Welcome!
Most of you already know, but we're the Drawing Club podcast, so we're all drawing here, or I don't know, maybe not all of you, but many of you are drawing, and those
we
of
are
you
drawing
who are
as
new,
well.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm already starting with not being clear. Anyways, the piece of information I'm trying to give you is that if you're new and you don't know, feel free to draw with us.
Yes, this is a podcast where we draw and we chat about a topic that changes every week. Usually it has to do with art and creative life, but sometimes it's just anything that interests us pretty much and interests you and you request us to talk about.
Exactly. So, Mia, do you want to share what you're drawing today?
Yes, so I have my watercolor set with me, and I kind of don't have much of a sketch today actually, but I've written "be kind" on my page, and I think I'm gonna kind of draw some kind of plants around it in some kind of just freehand, something like that. It's gonna be like gentle and green and nice. What about you?
I'm just drawing some abstract pattern with blobs.
And who is surprised by Sasha's blobs?
Yes. Yeah, my subject matter is not very wide on these recordings, but it's fine. Now it's smaller blobs. Usually I use bigger blobs, so there you go.
Variety.
And I'm using 2 color pencils, and I also found some. What are they? Ink. Gel pens, yes. Oh. So I think I'm gonna use a combination of color pencils and gel pens to color those.
Oh, that's an interesting, I don't think we've done that before on this show. It's not like your typical drawing setup.
No.
Okay, so should we move on to the thing we wish to share with the club today.
Yes, let's do that.
What is your
wanna-
thing? Oh, should I? Okay.
Yes, no, I can start.
Yes. Feel free to start.
Yes. Yeah, I can start with my thing so it can explain why everything is messy and why I only have 2 pencils. And I'm sorry if some of you are tired of me talking about moving, but this might be, I don't know, the second last time I talk about moving. I can't promise I'm stopping completely because it's still gonna take a while. But I'm now in my new apartment. Yay! And yes, we just moved like 2 days ago, so things are still in boxes. I don't have my drawing supplies really. I have no idea where they are. So I only had like this small bag of like immediate stuff that I need, you know, the stuff that I usually take with me in my bag. So yeah, in that pencil case, I found 2 color pencils and 2 gel pens. That is all I have. And that is why my mind is very messy also, because my surroundings are very messy. And like this setup, I'm just sitting on a kitchen table, and half of the kitchen table is covered with some dishes that don't know where they live yet, and the other half is my podcast setup. So, you know, this is in the process. So, yeah. But actually, the thing that I wanted to, like the main thing I wanted to talk about in this, okay, this is gonna be a little bit long.
That's all right.
Because there is this whole thing, like there are a lot of things I've been thinking about lately with this move, because we've saved up for this move and we've gotten some new stuff for this apartment because it's a bigger apartment, and our whole life kind of got upgraded with this move. And I've had like very different feelings about it. It's really weird, like, because for example, we got a washing machine and we've never had a washing machine before, or like I've never owned a washing machine. So I always used a laundry room, or like when I just moved to Finland, I used my dad's house washing machine. I would like take my laundry to his place and like stuff like that. So like, yeah, I mean, in my childhood home we had a washing machine, but once I started living on my own, this is the first time I actually own a washing machine.
Yeah.
And like also our apartment has a dishwasher, and like our apartment has even a sauna, and it's like, it's so weird because I keep feeling like all of these things are some kind of like huge luxury, and I'm kind of like, how am I even affording this? How do I even deserve this? But then I start thinking like, this is stuff that like a lot of people have. Like, of course not everybody has this stuff. Like there are a lot of people who can't afford this stuff, but still it's like here in Finland a lot of people do have a washing machine. It's not like this kind of huge luxury that I'm like splurging onto because I just like don't know where to put my money. So, but also because these things are so like different from what I used to, it does feel like a huge luxury to me. So yeah, I've had these like very conflicting feelings around this stuff, which I know is like very everyday stuff for others. Like for so many people, it's not a huge thing to own a washing machine. It's like owning a bed, or like, you know, having a place to live in. Of course you have a washing machine in your apartment, but I don't know. For me, these things have been so big. I don't know. This might sound like very silly to a lot of you, but like for me, like I've had a lot of like, yeah, I feel like generally like in my life, this is like, I feel like I'm becoming an adult, even though I'm 32, I think.
Yes, we are 32.
Yes. I don't always remember my age. Yes, and I've been married for like over 10 years. So like I've been an adult for a long time, but still somehow like now things have been happening that feel Like, I don't know.
You're getting the...
Am I making...
Yes,
Am I making sense?
Your home is becoming an adult home, in quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, for me, it has been like, because I've only lived in one apartment as an adult, so for me it has been less like this, because now it must feel so strange, because kind of at once all these things are coming into your life. For me it has been like more gradual, but I remember especially like when we got the dishwasher, that was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. And I definitely felt like an adult when I got the dishwasher. And it's like, it's the best thing. I'm so excited for you to have a dishwasher.
Yeah. But I'm also like feeling weird that like, that for a lot of people this is just like a normal thing, that like for example, yesterday I was thinking about like that for the first time ever we also got like a normal bed, like a good bed. Like, I'm 32 and this is the first time I own a good bed, because before, I mean, okay, when I lived alone I had a pretty good bed, but like a single bed, so okay, this is not the first time, but like as a couple this is the first time we have a good bed, because when we just moved together we were using my partner's sister's old bed that like wasn't that big, and also it was like pretty old and pretty bad, and like there were all these springs that you could, I don't know, it was bad. But we slept for years on that, and then we changed that to like a loft bed, which I mean was already much better, but it was still not the most convenient thing because it's like a loft bed, and for a lot of people I know it's like a child's bed. Like a lot of people don't even consider like adults sleeping on that kind of bed. So I know this is like also not like a... I mean, it was in many ways inconvenient. It was good for like our life situation at that time, but it was still like not the most convenient. But now we actually have like an actual bed, and we bought a mattress that is like good and comfy, and it's like I don't know, and it like blows my mind on one hand that this is happening to us, but on the other hand that like this is a thing that it's like I'm 32 and I'm being excited about finally having a normal bed. Like, I don't know, these things are so weird. Yeah. Anyways, please let us know, like in the comments or messages, if you can relate to that. Like, yeah, because these feelings are very new to me and very weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, but I think we should move to your thing that you want to share with the club, because this is becoming a topic of the podcast already.
True. Yes, but you know, this is a continuing segment talking about your move and the feels.
Yeah, maybe I should have a podcast about my move. I have so much to say.
But that's okay.
Anyways,
it's a big thing. Okay, but my thing that I want to share this week is a book that I've been reading now for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. It's called Come As You Are, and it's a book about like women's sexuality and having sex as a woman in our society. It's like a feminist book, but it's like about, how should I say? It kind of discusses the science behind like sex, and it's, okay, first of all, I have to say that it like is mostly directed at cis women, and it states that in the beginning. I'm sure like some of the things are applicable also to people of different genders, but it talks about the biology of the vagina and vulva, and then it talks about like all kinds of psychological phenomena that affect sex and also societal things, and it's really, really interesting. Like it kind of packs a lot of information and discusses a lot of different research that's been done on the topics, but it just seems like a very valuable resource to kind of get to know like maybe your body and just like how everything affects how you view sex or how you have sex. It's very interesting. I highly recommend it to anyone, and especially women who are just interested in sex, I guess. But yes, you look like you knew. Are you like familiar with this book?
Yes, I've heard about it. Yeah, I've been like curious about it.
Okay,
before.
well, I can lend it to you once I'm done if you want to.
Yes, please. I was gonna ask, like, my next question was, like, did you buy it or is it from the library?
Yes, I bought it because at first
Yes,
I was gonna get it from the library, but there was a huge queue and I was like, no, I want to read it now.
Okay, then yes, please, once you're done, please borrow it.
Yes. And I also had to say, I mean, it's by, let me see. It's by Dr. Emily Nagoski. She's really funny. But she's a sex therapist. So yeah, it's like a perfect balance. It's very entertaining, but it's very like informational. No, it has very much information, and it's based on science. So it's really, really good so far. And I've had like so many epiphanies already about like my own self and like my relationship to my body and all this stuff. It's really good. So highly recommend. Come as you are.
Yeah, I wonder if I even like heard an interview with this author, like in a podcast or something. Okay, well now I even started scrolling my podcast app, but I shouldn't actually search for it. But I'm like, because I've even heard this name, so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know about that book.
Yes.
And yeah. Sounds really good.
Yes, I can't wait to finish. I'm about almost halfway. So I've read like 150 pages or something, and it's like super, super good. Yes. Okay, but should we get to our topic of the day?
Yes. Our topic was suggested by one of our listeners. And actually, I didn't write it down. Next time we do a topic by one of our listeners, we should write it down.
True.
But I think it was Matilda Deshane who asked us to talk about veganism, and that was perfect because we were already planning to talk about it.
Yes,
so
it has been on our topic list since the first season. Like since we first wrote down a list of topics before we started recording any of them. So this was like the perfect sign that now is the time.
Yes,
to do
but
it.
now that some of you also said you're interested, we were like, okay, now it's time to do it.
Exactly.
Yes, so please keep suggesting us topics because there's a good chance we will talk about it if you do.
Yes.
Anyways, veganism. So yeah, we're both vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we thought, and yeah, we feel very strongly about it. So that's why we thought we would really want to talk to you friends about it. And should we maybe start with like our story of how we got to be vegan and when that happened and why?
Would you like to share yours first?
Okay. Well, of course, like many other vegans, first I was vegetarian for years. For me it was very gradual. I think first I stopped eating red meat, then I stopped eating chicken, then I was still eating fish for a while, then I was just vegetarian. And why I became vegetarian was basically because my partner was vegetarian. When I started dating my current partner, he was already vegetarian for several years.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of I didn't really have much of an opinion about being vegetarian back then. But then because we were eating together, I was kind of slowly getting more and more used to not eating meat. Because, we were eating together more and more often because we were spending more and more time together. And I wasn't necessarily opposed to not eating meat. As long as the food is good, I would eat it. I wasn't like, I have to have meat in every dish or anything like that. So I was just eating vegetarian food because we were eating together. And then I was getting more and more used to it. And then also I think I kind of, like, I was still a teenager. Like, I think I was 17 when we started dating, or maybe 18. I don't remember. It was a very, very long time ago. Or maybe later. Anyways, okay, now I'm gonna spend ages trying to figure out when we started dating. Doesn't matter. But yes, I think that was also the time when I was kind of starting to get interested in, like, you know, serious life topics and ethical living and, like, I don't know, social things. Like, I kind of started thinking about serious things. So of course I was kind of learning more and more also about animals and, like, animal cruelty and everything. So I think it was, like, very gradually, like, I was becoming vegetarian just out of habit, but also gradually learning about the ethical side of it.
Yeah.
And then we were vegetarian for, like, okay, I don't know the numbers, unfortunately, but for many, many years. And then I remember one day we just decided that we're gonna go vegan. It was really weird. I think we've been both considering it, that would be, like, a good thing to do. I think for even, like, a couple years, we both were kind of thinking, like, okay, actually, like, veganism is a good thing and that's something you should do. But then we didn't. But then one day, I think I was like, I think we should go vegan. And my partner was like, yeah, I think so too. And then, like, yeah, the next day we were vegan.
Wow. And that, like, since then you have been vegan?
Yes. And since then we've been vegan. And I'm not sure how many years it's been. No, actually, was it? Well, maybe like 6 years.
Yeah, I think it's 6 because it was like a year before we did. Or like, it was at least like because I remember that.
Okay. So,
about my own journey.
Yes. So I've been vegan for 6 years.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, for me, it was like similarly very gradual. I remember like, I think like after high school, so I was maybe 19, I was reading something about food, and it was more like from this health benefits type of way. And that was like, it was talking about factory farming, like also from this ethical point of view, but like the main point of view of the book was like health. So, but yeah, so then I decided, okay, I don't want to eat red meat like anymore. And I had already had, like, some of my friends were vegetarian even before then, but I love food. And I think a lot of people can relate to just loving the taste of food so much. You're kind of, like, I just felt like I don't want to miss out on these amazing tastes and foods. But then I decided, like, okay, like, this is, I don't want to eat red meat. So then I did that for a while, that I still ate chicken. Then I think after about 1 or 2 years of eating chicken, I was like, okay, I don't want to do that either. Because I kind of knew, you know, that there's not much of a difference between like eating red meat or eating chicken, like ethics-wise. So then I wanted to give up chicken. But then I think I was a pescatarian, so I ate like seafood and like, I ate seafood and vegetarian food for almost like 5 years. Yeah. Until I was 26. And I would mostly, like, I was slowly, oh my God. I was slowly kind of, I was aware of veganism, and I was like changing a lot of my products, for example, to be like plant-based. So I would use like plant-based cheese occasionally, and all my milks would be like soy milk, or I think it was mostly soy milk was available at that time. So, and I would also like make a lot of food that was already vegan, but I would also make food with cheese. And then like when I would eat out, I think I would always eat something with fish or seafood, just for some reason. I didn't cook that much with it, but when I would eat out, it would be like a thing. I think I had this prejudice, and I think maybe at the time it was more true than now, that like in restaurants the vegetarian food wasn't very good, and like not even talking about the vegan food, which probably wasn't like even readily available, at least on the menus at that point. So yeah, I kept eating fish and seafood until in 2015, in the beginning of the year, there's this kind of challenge in Finland, and I think it's actually a global challenge. It's called Veganuary, but in Finland it's called Veganihaaste, and it's kind of a challenge by this Finnish vegan society, where for the month of January you eat vegan food, and you get like a newsletter and like recipes every day and stuff. I didn't actually like cook from those recipes, because at the time I already had like a lot of resources myself for vegan food, because I had been eating a lot of vegan food. But then I just kind of stopped eating all that other stuff. And when we had been doing that for 2 weeks, I said to my partner, like, okay, I don't ever want to eat cheese again. Like, this is so much easier than I thought. This is like, I feel so much better about it. Yeah, like especially I just felt like mentally so much like lighter, and it felt so good to not kind of cause harm by my eating habits to other living beings, because like for years I had kind of known that I would want to be vegan, and I felt like being vegan is would be the right choice and like ethically right, but I just was like, I didn't want to give up cheese was basically my big thing. But then after 2 weeks of like just deciding to like not do it for a month, I already knew like, okay, I can totally, I want to decide to not do this like ever. Wow, that was a huge rambly thing, but that's basically it. So it was very gradual, but then yeah, then we just kind of made the decision. And for us, it was this challenge thing was like the perfect kind of, okay, this is a perfect time to try it. And then we immediately just found that, yeah, this is what we want to do. But that's so nice that yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say that it's so nice that we both have kind of, our partners were also like, we were together with this, because in my previous relationship, my partner would eat meat, but I wouldn't. So it was a lot more challenging, I think, also for that reason. But then like in my relationship now, it's been very nice that we've both kind of been on the same page the whole time.
Yeah. But I'm also really grateful that my partner like didn't have a problem with me eating meat like when we started dating, even though he was already a vegetarian. Like maybe it would, like if I would be very passionate about eating meat, like, and I don't know, maybe it would have been a problem, but I was like pretty flexible about what I was eating, and he's the one cooking anyway, so I don't really like to cook, so whatever he cooked me, I was already happy that somebody cooked for me. Yeah, but yeah, I like, because I know for many people it's like they wouldn't even date someone who like is not vegetarian or vegan, which also is understandable, because for a lot of people, food and sharing food and like eating together is like a huge thing. That is like also like a bonding experience.
Sure. But
also like I love my partner, and I'm happy that we're together, and I'm happy that it wasn't like a deal-breaking thing for him that I wasn't vegetarian at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we got onto the same page very quickly.
I want to ask you, like, what were your reasons for becoming vegan? Because you said, like, you started thinking about all these kind of big, important topics in life, but like, what were the reasons for you to go vegan?
Well, basically, animal rights and the environment in general. I mean, animals are part of the environment too, but like, yeah, like just because the industry is really, really cruel, and in the beginning I felt that maybe dairy and like eggs is not as cruel as meat, because like, you know, you don't kill animals to get those products out of them. But then the more I researched, the more I realized that in many ways, the dairy and like egg industry is even more cruel, or like I don't know if you can compare the cruelty, but like in a way it can seem even more cruel because animals stay alive, but they experience horrible traumatic things all the time. So I kind of like the more I researched, the more I realized that like it doesn't make sense, like it didn't seem ethical to me, that like I felt like I'm ethically against animal cruelty because I don't eat animals, but I still support this other part of the industry, which is like also very, very horrible. So but basically animal rights. But of course also like later I realized that it's like this whole big thing, that it's not just animals suffering, but also like the whole planet is like the whole planet is suffering because of this industry, because it's just very bad for the I'm not gonna go into science because I'm not a scientist, but if you don't really know the facts, that's okay. A lot of people don't know those facts because they're not very publicly available, but I would suggest researching on how meat and dairy industry affects the environment.
Yes, and the global warming, like, specifically also.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, they play, like, a way bigger role than I was ever aware of, like, you know?
Yes,
and exactly. That you, like, what you could kind of imagine just without knowing. Yes, but in the beginning, why I was, like, even when I knew all of those things, why I was still hesitating to go completely vegan was that I was worried if, like, I could still eat a healthy diet while it being vegan, because of course there's like, at least like I think now there's way more information about how to be healthy while eating vegan, but back then it was a bit harder to like, and also of course the society would already press you for like not eating meat, and then just in general, the information was not very available. So I felt that being vegan would potentially harm my health if I wasn't like super careful about it. It felt like I would have to be very like plan every meal and really like calculate everything. I don't know. I just had this idea. But then I think like after I've followed some influencers that were vegan and that kind of talked about it from the health perspective, even though like my main reason was never health. But then when I saw people talk about it from the health perspective, and some people would even like go vegan because they felt it's better for their health. So then it was kind of like eye-opening to me, because I was like, okay, so some people actually consider it more healthy. So it's not actually something that will harm my health, but this actually might help make me more healthy. Of course, it depends on how you eat. Like you can still eat unhealthy and be vegan. Anyways. Yeah, but they're not like contradictory. It's not like...
Exactly. And a lot of things that are animal products are actually not good for your body. So there was like, once I got that information, I was like, okay, now there's no reason for me to not be vegan.
Yeah, for me, like same, like the cruelty aspect of it was definitely a big one. And then I think like, because then I also, because it was very gradual, like I was cooking and eating more and more vegan food. So I like kind of gradually understood that, okay, this food, like I really enjoy this food. I don't really, like I have no issues with eating this way. Like this food is very good and I like it. But yeah, like I said, I had this thing with cheese. I loved cheese, and I don't mean like this everyday cheese. I mean these fancy cheeses that you get like, I don't know, at a party with grapes and some crackers. Like those were my thing. But then when I did decide to first try out being vegan, and then when I decided that, okay, this feels good, I want to do this, one of the first things I did was learn how to make my own cheeses, like with cashew nuts, and like how to kind of make them very much like those fancy cheeses from like cow's milk. And I like realized like, oh, I can still have this as well. I can still like have this experience. And that's been like a big thing for me, I think, like, because I love food and I love lots of those foods that I grew up with and like enjoyed, but realizing that I don't actually have to give anything up. There are like alternative ways to still make them vegan, and I can still like enjoy kind of those same things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I had exactly, like, I had this cheese thing also. Like, I love cheese. I loved like, I would have this Aura Justo, the blue cheese, in my home all the time. Like, even though for some people it would be like this special day cheese, I would have like these fancy cheeses all the time. But I think like once we decided to go vegan, I was like, okay, I'm gonna allow myself to have cheese every now and then if I really want it, and I'm just gonna like not eat anything else, any other animal products. But I think I did treat myself to cheese every now and then for like 2 weeks, and then I was over it. I was over it so quickly. And I didn't even like make my own cheeses, and I haven't had any cheese until they started like producing all those vegan, like nowadays there's so many different vegan cheeses that like it's just so easy. But back then again there were maybe only a couple and they were not good. So I haven't had like before all these cool cheeses started coming onto the market, I didn't have cheese for like a couple years, and I didn't even miss it. And I was sure that that's like the thing I would miss the most. Like, I was like, I don't care about yogurt or whatever, but like, oh my God, cheese, I'm gonna miss it so much. But yeah, I think like once I was invested in this, and then I found out so many other things that I could enjoy eating, I didn't like even miss cheese anymore.
That is so, I had the same experience. Exactly the same experience. And it was so weird because then I kind of felt very, very silly for like letting my love of cheese stop me from becoming fully vegan for like a few years, when then in reality after 2 weeks I was like, I don't want to eat cheese anymore. Just but it's okay. Like sometimes it takes, it is a difficult choice to make.
And you learn from your own experience.
Exactly.
You kind of like, you think that it's a big thing, but then once you don't have it in your life, you miss it for a little while, and then you kind of realize that your life is still as full and complete and enjoyable without this one thing.
Yeah. And like you said, then you find new things to enjoy. And that one for me was like a huge thing, and why I immediately loved being vegan, because even though I had already been like cooking vegan meals, still like when I kind of made the full shift, I felt like this world kind of opened up in front of me of like new flavors and new exciting foods. I was so excited about it all. And I mean, because I love food, like food is one of my big passions in life. And I feel like becoming vegan, which is like so against everything that people like non-vegan people tell you, it has like brought me so much more enjoyment of food, like so many foods that I would have never tried if there was like if I didn't kind of cut out all the animal products. If like just so many new experiences and so much like richness in that.
Exactly.
It's been amazing.
I remember like I started researching all these like new recipes because I wanted to find all these new things to do. And I remember like, for example, like nutritional yeast, I started seeing it everywhere, and I'm like, what is this nutritional yeast thing? Like, where do I even find it? Or is it only like an American thing? Or like, what is it even? And I remember I even like messaged my friend Raisa, who like was already vegan at that time, and I was like, okay, does this nutritional yeast thing like exist in Finland, and what is it in Finnish, and where do you even buy it? And she kind of instructed me to like where to find it. And it's funny, like now as a vegan, like it's this thing you always have at home, at least like for me, and I guess for you also. It's like one of those basic things. So I'm sure maybe for Raisa it was like a really like quite a funny thing to then like explain, like, because it seems so obvious, like such an obvious product, like a staple.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, like you find out about these things. Like, yeah, I found out about so many foods that are amazing.
Yes.
Once there was this challenge, like, okay, now there are all these products that I'm used to that I can't use, or like I don't want to use. So what can I use? And then you start researching, and there's so much. Like I eat so much more varied diet now than I did when I was omnivore or vegetarian. Like and it tastes so much better. They're like, I don't know, it's just the whole food. I think like I didn't have the same relationship with food before, like you say, like you were really into food. I was kind of like, I was pretty neutral to food. I just ate food to, you know, to live, to survive. Like, I mean, I did enjoy some things more than others, but I didn't feel like very strongly, like except for cheese and chocolate. Yes, good milk chocolate is still a thing that I kind of like on a hunt for. There are some good milk chocolates, like kind of fake, what is it, like vegan milk chocolates. Yeah, but anyways, there were some things that I really liked that like that I felt strongly about, but in general I didn't feel that strongly about food. But now I do. Like now I'm like obsessed with food. I really like trying out new foods, like maybe I'm not much into cooking, but if I do have a cooking inspiration, I want to try something new. I want to like see what I can do with like different ingredients and stuff. Like my experience with food has become so much more rich.
Yes. Yeah. That has been so amazing because it's so contradictory to what people think. Because it's exactly. Like, I mean, of course, like the main thing is like I won't eat these things anymore. So it sounds like you're kind of having less, but actually like, my experience has been like the total opposite. Like so much new stuff has opened up and I feel like so grateful for that. Yeah.
But is there anything, like still anything that you miss from your omnivore days?
Yeah, sometimes, like, I mean, generally speaking, like, I don't really, but sometimes there are these things, like, if I smell something, like, barbecue outside, I'm like, oh my god, it smells good, and, I mean, I was never, like, a huge meat lover anyway, but still, like, I wish there were, like, amazing vegan ribs, or some like, super, like, like grimy barbecue stuff, but like the meat, like there are some nice meat substitutes that I really enjoy, and like it's not something I want to eat every day, but it's this special thing, and like none of them are, I haven't found like perfect like a perfect fit of those things, but like you said, like very like creamy chocolate, like milk chocolate, there, like, nothing is as good yet, at least, that I've tried as, like, the milk chocolate that I enjoyed before. Let's see. What do you have something other than the chocolate?
Yeah, no, I think that's, like, now the only thing that's left for me.
Okay,
is milk chocolate. Because, it was also ice cream for a while. Like, until the past maybe 3 years. Like, there was vegan ice cream, but I didn't really like any of it. So, I was really into ice cream before, but then I was kind of like, I didn't really enjoy ice cream anymore. I would eat it every now and then, but like in the past 2 or 3 years, so many amazing vegan ice creams, at least in Finland, have appeared. That this is, that's not a issue for me anymore. There's like plenty to choose from. And there's like so many flavors I haven't even tried yet.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you can't even keep up with them anymore.
But the I have tried one brand of chocolate. There was like a vegan milk chocolate in Germany once that I bought like in a vegan shop.
Yeah.
That was really, really good, and it was the closest thing to the perfect milk chocolate. that I've tried ever.
Yum.
But unfortunately, I don't remember.
No! You can't do this!
Yeah. But the good news that it exists. The perfect milk chocolate exists. We just don't have it like in the... Like, it's possible to make vegan milk chocolate that tastes amazing. So I'm like just being happy for that and waiting until it comes to grocery stores near us.
We should give our German listeners like a task. Please hunt down this vegan chocolate. Or like, I mean, if you know of a really good vegan chocolate that's available in Germany, it might be the one. You should let us know.
Yeah, or like send me pictures of all the vegan milk chocolate that you find in Germany, so maybe I will recognize the packaging.
Oh my god. Help us hunt it down.
Yes, I mean, no need to do that actually, that's a big task.
Yeah.
But if you have nothing to do, then go ahead, I'll be really thankful.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, has there been like any other annoying thing about being vegan that is maybe not like liking some foods that you crave, but anything else?
Well, I remember this. I think it was, this happened, I think, right when we became vegan. We had like a party with friends and like some people were frying like some sausages, and we had vegan sausages, and even like some of our other friends had vegan or like vegetarian or vegan sausages. And like I overheard in the kitchen, like I wasn't kind of part of the conversation, so I guess they weren't trying to say it to us, but they were talking like kind of like, I don't understand like why someone would like eat fake sausage. Like why wouldn't you just like, what's the point of this fake thing? Like why wouldn't you just have the real thing? Which is like so this, and I think this is like a big thing that some people have is like, well, like, why would you eat this fake meat if you don't want to eat meat? Like, what's the point? Well, the point is that there's no cruelty involved. There's no killing of animals involved. Like, a lot of us still enjoy the same or similar flavors and, like, dishes and things that we are used to, that we, used to enjoy. We still enjoy those things. Like, not all of us, but a lot of us. So we still want to have a sausage every now and then. Like, it's that simple. I don't understand why that like becomes this huge thing for a lot of people to like that is so hard to wrap their minds around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I've heard a lot.
Yeah, I even like heard from some like vegans this kind of
yes.
Attitude that anything that kind of like all these substitutes, like why would you even eat these substitutes if you don't want to eat meat? Then why do you eat something that looks like meat? Which I'm very like, I disagree with that completely, because I think the main, like at least for me, the main point in veganism is like that you try, like with your money, you try to do as little harm as possible. So you don't not support the industries that are harmful to animals and the environment. So that is like the point. So for some people, for example, it's really hard to drastically change their diets. Because if you, for example, of course, you can be vegan and only eat like beans and like veggies and like rice or whatever grains, and just not have anything that resembles meat at all. That's fine.
Of course.
Many people do that. And yeah, that's probably like super healthy and stuff. So yeah, but it's not very easy for many people, at least, to do that right away. And maybe for many people it's not even the goal. So
yeah, for me it's like I want to enjoy like those things that I have enjoyed.
But like if somebody can just not change anything except for their food not, doing harm to animals and the environment. So, for example, if I was eating pizza every day, I'm going to continue eating pizza. And it's just going to contain this quote unquote fake meat and fake cheese, then
Right.
like that does the job.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I think those foods are very important. Like also in that way that they make it easier for many people to go vegan, and then maybe gradually they will discover all these other foods. And I mean, yeah, of course, there's like just in general, there's nothing wrong with having these flavors you enjoy, but I think those are even like very important. Maybe they're not very necessary. Yes, we could all survive completely with no meat substitutes, but it would make veganism much harder for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think those
like
foods are like important.
Yeah, like what you're saying, especially, if like people are kind of, just beginning, probably they want to make like the same food they used to make, but just like substitute that one thing into something else. So they don't have to like learn a whole new way of cooking. They can just change something out to a vegan alternative. So that, like you said, that makes it like so much more accessible.
Yeah, exactly. Can we take a break and then
Yes.
I will get to my annoying thing about being vegan? We're back and okay, now it's my turn to say what annoys me.
Yes.
About being vegan. Yeah, I don't know, like I don't have an exact story, but basically like the people's reaction is often annoying. I mean, not all the people, like most people are either like neutral or very nice about it, but like I try to be very like not pushy about it. Of course, like maybe now, like in this episode, we do sound like this is very important, but because we are talking about our experiences and how we feel about it. But whenever I actually talk to other people who are not vegan about it, I never like push it onto them or anything. I just talk about it as like my experience is like, okay, I don't eat this because blah blah blah. And then if they like, because I'm vegan, and if they ask more questions, then I just explain my position. And like depending on how people are curious, I explain it, but I never like shame people for eating what they eat and stuff. And I think that's like that's very important.
Definitely.
Like it's just, generally it's not nice to shame people for what they do unless like, they're doing something very horrible. But everybody is like, food is very personal thing, and it's none of our business why people eat what they eat.
Yeah, and like, because for a lot of people, first of all, it's not possible for a variety of reasons. And also, like, even for those who it is possible, everyone's like at a different point. Like, we got to this gradually. Like, we didn't always know everything. We didn't always feel like this way. So it's natural that people are at like different places and different points with the thing.
Yeah.
Also.
But it like annoys me so much that a lot of people assume that I am like judging them or that I'm judging their food or that I hate their food or that I hate them for eating their food, or even I think sometimes people assume that I'm trying to push something towards them, which I'm not trying to do. I'm like actually being, maybe like in the beginning when I was like younger and also I was like really passionate about it because I was just learning all the information. So I was really like, oh my God. So then maybe I might have like, I didn't try to be pushy, but I might have come out as pushy, and I wish I was talking about it differently, like before when I was younger. Yeah. But I was like, I understand why I was that way, because I was like horrified by all the information. Yeah. But of course, I think I could have been better at how I talked about it.
I definitely had that experience as well, like in the beginning. Yeah.
But I think nowadays I'm very careful about how I talk about food to other people. Yes. So it annoys me that sometimes people still assume that I'm pushing something towards them, and they get very defensive, and sometimes they start explaining to me why they eat meat and stuff, which I think is also very disrespectful, because like I'm not pushing my diet onto you, so don't push your diet onto me, So it like, because people assume that I'm pushing my diet onto them, they start pushing
Yeah.
theirs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, or also sometimes people are making fun of it also sometimes, especially people you don't know very well.
Yeah.
And sometimes in groups, people would start making fun of what I eat, or like maybe someone else who is vegan, what they eat. And that's very disrespectful. Because, I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but like you won't make fun of a person who is like allergic. I mean, maybe some people still do. And I know it's not the same. Like, I actually choose to eat what I eat.
Yeah.
People who are allergic can't choose. So I'm not like saying that it's the same experience, but I think in general, like food is a sensitive topic for a lot of people. So I think the general rule of thumb should be that we do not make fun of people's food.
Yes.
No matter the context.
Definitely.
And like of the, So I think it's like, because vegans choose to eat what they eat, some other people assume that it's okay to also make fun of them, because they assume it's not a sensitive topic, because it's not like a sickness or an allergy or a mental health issue or anything like that. Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, like this choice, like one person just making this choice kind of feels like an attack, because I think it makes people uncomfortable, because they kind of, they view it immediately as, so I am doing something bad because I am eating meat, for example. And I mean, like not talking about now like the ethics of it, because I do think some things are more right or wrong, or but like even if the vegan person or the person eating vegan food doesn't even say anything or express in any way any kind of judgment in that situation, that people like kind of just still experience it in a way, because they kind of it gets like reflected, I don't know, like they get this guilty feeling, and then they feel like they have to somehow justify it their own way, or somehow defend themselves, even if like it's totally one-sided actually in that situation. If that makes sense.
But also, I just thought about like another annoying thing. Is that I hate when people judge other people being vegan because it is trendy.
Oh my god, that's so true. And it's so true for like so many things, but yes, for veganism as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because of course maybe some people's reason for why they're vegan is that it's trendy. Maybe. I don't know. It's quite a big life choice to do just because it's trendy. But let's assume that is a reason for some people. Some people think, oh, that's... I don't know. Even how what they think. Anyway, it's like all of my friends are vegan, so I'm just gonna be vegan too. For example, to fit in. But like, isn't the end result the same?
Yeah.
Like this person stopped giving their money to a very unethical industry.
Yeah.
So who cares why? Why is it wrong to do something good because it's trendy?
Yeah.
Like, let's say picking up trash on the street is good. Like, that's what most people consider it. How about this became trendy? Like, let's say, I don't know, someone very famous posted a video of them picking up trash, and all of their fans went to pick up trash because they just thought it's cool. Like, there is less trash on the street.
Yes.
Who cares why they decided to do it? Like, it's the same. I don't think it's a problem if somebody is doing something good because if it's trendy. And I even had this, like, a person once told me, after like asking me a lot of questions, like it was like a very polite conversation, and a person was asking me a lot of questions about veganism because they were curious, and that was totally fine. And I was like trying to answer it in like a respectful manner so that I'm not attacking them, but just explaining the reason behind my choices. But then in the end, this person was like, oh, I feel so good to talking to someone who is like actually vegan for a good reason, because I'm so tired of all of these people just doing it because it's trendy.
No! Oh my god!
Like, okay, you're now complimenting me, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like so uncomfortable with that comment because like I know that this person is now telling that they enjoyed the conversation with me and they like learned a lot about veganism and like, so they're complimenting about how I approach the conversation. So I'm happy you enjoyed talking to me about it, but also don't insult other vegans.
Oh my God.
Just, like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, things like that annoy me a lot. And usually like I try to say like, yeah, I don't think it's a problem. And like, I really, if I can, I try to also address it if people tell that to me. I'm like, yeah, let's not shame others for the reasons why they choose their diet also.
Yeah. So true. Something that I thought of as well is like, because you said that you're not like super pushy with your veganism, and I'm similar. Like if it kind of comes up, I like usually comes up by me asking like, oh, do you know if this is vegan? You know, if something is served somewhere or something, that I just want to make sure for myself if something is vegan or if there is something vegan available or something like that. But and I've noticed that just by consuming the vegan products and also like talking about them with my friends and family, or like if we're eating together and they see me have it and I always like, do you want to taste this and stuff, I've noticed so much change. For example, my mom, she no longer like eats anything dairy. She pretty much doesn't eat any meat. I mean, she will rarely eat meat, but like most of her everyday food is like vegan. She has like traded milk for oat milk, and she has always like vegan cheese in the fridge. And also because of that, my grandma has also traded her like coffee milk for this oat milk. And I mean, she still eats meat and everything, but she has traded like some things for vegan alternatives. And I haven't even had any conversations with either of them about like why I became vegan, why it's important, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I've had anything like that. I've just simply like eaten vegan food in their company and then like been like, oh, do you want to try it? This is really nice. And sometimes I've cooked like vegan food for my parents and stuff. So it's just by this sharing and then kind of seeing that it's normal and wanting to try it. And it's like, and also like a lot of my friends as well, like it's really cool that just by kind of, just by eating that food, you can like spread it around kind of. And I'm not saying like that someone is doing something wrong if they are like more kind of, I don't know, pushy about it necessarily, because I think there are many ways that you can do this, but yeah, I just wanted to share.
Yeah, but just so you know, sometimes if you just rave about a food you like, or like if you eat something and show that it's good, that might actually interest people in vegan food.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though like for me that's not always like my experience with some of my relatives do enjoy, even though like when they eat on their own, they are not vegan or vegetarian, but when they eat with me, they do enjoy the same food that I eat. And they're curious and they want to try new things if it's something they haven't tried. And they might even eat it also on their own later. But also, yeah, I have some people in my family who have been very like, I don't know, like if something's on the table that they know is like there because me and my partner are also at the table, like this is the vegan alternative for us, they will not even touch it or try it because it's this weird vegan thing.
Yeah, I've had that too sometimes.
And they will make it a point. Like they would ask from the person who cooked, they would ask, what is this? And the person who cooked would say like, oh, it's this vegan thing, like, you know. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, no. And yeah. And or like they would ask like, okay, so which cake is the normal cake? And then like, you know, and they will only have normal cake because this is the weird vegan cake just for those weird vegans.
Yeah,
so like,
of course.
I mean, if you don't want to eat the weird vegan cake, that like, I don't have a problem with that. Just have your quote unquote normal cake. Like, that's not a problem. But also making it a point that, okay, there is this food that I'm not going to even touch. It's disrespectful to the person who is now gonna eat that food.
Yeah.
Because like you just showed with all of your emotions because you've showed how disgusted you are with this thing
Yeah.
that somebody's about to eat. So that's like, I think that's very impolite. And like, if you don't want to eat something that is vegan because you think it's disgusting, don't show it.
Yeah. Yeah, like basic courtesy. Be nice to each other, people.
Yeah, don't insult each other's food. I think it's like the big...
That's a big takeaway today.
Takeaway. Yeah. Yeah. But do you have any other, like, funny or, like, weird things that people say to you?
Yeah, I was trying to think of these, but I couldn't really, like, I don't know, there might have been something, but I couldn't really think of anything. Did you have something?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in general, like, this normal food, like, always calling the non-vegan food normal food.
Yes.
I mean, it's impolite, but also, like, me and my partner, we make fun of it between each other all the time.
Yeah.
Or like, also, for example, whenever my partner's mom cooks something vegan, she'll offer it to us and say that there's nothing in it. And I mean, I know that she means that there's nothing in it that we don't eat.
Yes.
But it's like, it's so fun. We always kind of, I mean, like very lightly, we always make fun of this food that has nothing in it.
Have some air on a plate. Enjoy it.
We do it even to her, and like she also knows that it's this joke of ours, but we're like, are you sure it has nothing? Like, like, yeah, it's a funny, like, I know, we know what she means, but but it's really funny that this food has nothing in it, because usually the vegan things that she makes are delicious and have a lot of really good stuff in it. So it's also, I think she insults her own cooking by saying these things, because like her vegan cakes and pies and stuff are amazing. She's like really good at making vegan food, and also like those other people in the family who refuse to try those are missing out.
Wow. Yeah, I bet.
Because those pies, I'm sure, are as good as the quote-unquote normal pies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, we have one person that we know who calls the food that we eat hippie food, which is like
really
so weird, because like yeah, it's like, and also I'm not gonna name names, and if you're listening to this podcast, I don't hate you for calling it hippie, but also none of the things we do is hippie stuff, because like hippies is like a subculture that we have nothing to do with.
Yeah, a bit too young.
I don't even know.
Or maybe they do. I don't know. Do they exist anymore?
I don't know. But like, were they even vegan? I mean, I guess
maybe
part of the hippie culture was like respecting nature and stuff, and that might be something we have in common with them, but also like, but it's like, but also it's funny, but like, we are making fun of it. Like, the person who commented it, I'm sorry, but we are making fun of you, making fun of our food by calling it hippie food. But yeah, this person also like would tell another person like, oh, this is a hippie soup, and then another person wouldn't eat it, because you know, like, they use it to, like, I know they were making a joke, but also they were kind of insulting it by this, like, it's, but like, I know some of those things are like just jokes and they're light, and like, and I'm not even like offended about it, but it's also a little bit like annoying.
Yeah. It is annoying, and I think it just shows how people are uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, in a way. And then they just try to...
There was one funny vegan-related comment. Once, in Finland, we have this thing called Restaurant Day. And on that day, like, anyone can kind of, like, open a restaurant. Like, you can just cook something and sell it on the street anywhere.
Yes.
And also you put it in the map on this website, and people can come and buy your food. Oh, I dropped my pencil. Whoops. You might have heard that. Anyways... I took part in that once, and I was making smoothies, and we were doing it together with two other friends, and another friend was making pancakes, and then another friend was baking also some like cakes and pies, and everything was vegan. And I think we like put it on the signs that everything is vegan, but I think we also had like maybe like ingredient list for some things, and somebody came and like was checking everything out and then asked about like one specific thing. How is this vegan if it has sugar?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, the sugar animal who creates sugar.
Yeah. But I mean, also again, I know that this is because this person just didn't know what vegan means, I guess. So like, no hate towards that person, but it was still kind of funny.
It is funny.
But yeah, I think because there's a lot of this health conversation around veganism, so maybe a lot of people think that it's like one of those health diets.
Yeah.
So they kind of just associate it to that. So, you know, sugar is not healthy, so why is something vegan has sugar?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
because
it was funny.
It's delicious.
Yeah. But also I think like that day we accidentally made everything kind of green. Like there were some cupcakes that were green, and then some of those little like raw candy that was green, and then I was making green smoothies, and then somebody came and I was like, so everything is vegan? Oh, I can see that. And then we look at our table and everything is like green. So like even the cupcakes are green. That was kind of funny. I mean, like we were also making fun of ourselves. Like, okay, of course vegans came and made all of those green candy and cakes. Yeah. But actually, yeah, not everything I eat is green. I eat food of all kinds of colors.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought like if there are like some questions that you get all the time, like we could also maybe kind of answer them. Like, is there some question that or like a comment that opposes being vegan that people tell you all the time that...
Well, it's not quite that, but something I thought of, like, that people, I think, always have questions about is protein. Like, how do vegans get their protein? But it's like, yeah, a lot of plants have more protein than meats, and you can look it up and you can please just research. And yeah, it's weird how, like, also as you were, like, when you were talking about how you didn't really, like, pay that much attention to food before you became vegan, but then you were kind of worried if, like, you can have, like, really nutritious food as a vegan, or, I mean, maybe you did pay attention also before that, but you were, like, worried about that. But it's kind of like, it only vegans get asked if, like, are you sure you're getting all the nutrients? Are you sure you're getting enough protein? Whereas, like, if you just eat meat, no one cares, like, if you're eating a varied diet or something. First of all, I mean, no one should care what anyone else eats, like you said. But, like, it's weird how this suddenly everyone is super interested about you remaining healthy and not, like, endangering yourself because you're not eating animal products. Which is, like, there's a lot of information about how to get enough nutrients. And yes, like, one fact is that vegans should eat B12, because that is something that we can't get from food, at least not, like, enough in a way that's our bodies absorb enough. So we need to get, like, have some supplements like that. But probably, at least from what I've read, I'm not a scientist again, but a lot of people who do eat meat also have B12 deficiencies, because it's not as available in the meat anymore either. So maybe just everyone should worry about their B12.
Yeah, that's what I heard also. Again, like, I think you should check from actual scientists.
Yes.
But yeah, I've also heard that meat nowadays, like, that B12 comes from, like, you know, earth.
Yeah, the
like,
soil.
So, like,
yeah.
animals who eat grass from the soil will have B12 in their meat. So if people eat that meat, they will get B12 from that. But that's not the kind of animals that people eat nowadays. Like, at least in, like, you know, in the cities and, like, generally.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, like, if you get your meat from the shelf in the store,
yes,
that probably wasn't fed grass from the ground. So that meat doesn't have B12 either. But again, we're not scientists. Check for that information from actual scientists, but that's what we heard from scientists that we've read that have written that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those? Oh, yes.
Yeah, the protein thing, of course, and yeah, I wanted to like address people who are not vegan. If you want to ask a vegan where they get their protein, please don't. Like, just Google it, because they get this question so much. It's like, I think if somebody asks me where I get my protein, I'm not even gonna answer anymore, because like, come on, there's like nowadays there's a lot of information about it.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you're not being rude when you're asking this question. You're just curious, but just so you know, it's like there's a lot of information about it, and there are way too many people asking that.
Yes.
But also, yeah, I was thinking about like the cheese thing, because I think like for everyone who is considering going vegan, who like thinks that going vegan is a good thing, there is this one thing that they feel very hard to
give up.
Eat.
Yeah.
To give up, yes. So like, I think, let's say cheese. So if you really want to be vegan, but you're like, but how am I going to survive without cheese? Like, I just can't give up cheese. My answer to that, how about you don't eat any animal products, but you keep eating cheese?
Yeah.
Do that. Because that's already a huge, huge step, because you're already going to give up so many more other products. And whether you give up cheese later or not, or like ice cream or whatever it is, that is your thing, that is really hard to give up. You might give it up later, or you might never be able to give it up. I don't know. But it's still going to be like a bigger impact than you just not eating vegan at all.
Yeah, that is such a good point, because I feel like a lot of people are very intimidated by this kind of like having to be perfect, which like, yeah, I definitely know the feeling. So yes, exactly. Like, you don't have to go in 100%, because you can't know everything at first. Like, do it the way that feels good to you. Like, if you want to make changes, you don't have to, you can be gradual about it, and you can have these things that, because everything makes a difference. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There is like, things are not black and white. It's not like you can have an impact, and if you don't have an impact, then like there's no impact. There is like a lot of different levels of the impact you can make on things that are important to you.
Yes.
So, yeah, like even if you feel, like if you want to go vegan, but you feel it very intimidating, start small. Like, start with like substituting one thing.
Yes.
And once that is not once that doesn't overwhelm you anymore, then do another thing. Or if you're ready to give up everything except this one thing, then do that. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And also,
anything
like, that
helps.
brings me to, that also brings me to, like, I want to talk about how me, but I think we both, like, how we are not perfect vegans, and probably no one is, or at least, like, most vegans aren't. Like, for example, I mean, because veganism, first of all, is, like, also about more than food. And you will be surprised by what kind of things can contain animal products when you're not, like, you wouldn't expect. A lot of medicine, first of all. And for me personally, and I would suggest for everyone else too, please don't, like, not take medicine when there are, like, no vegan alternatives. And if it's medicine, it's probably not vegan. So please don't not take your medicine just because you want to be vegan. There are some things you can't, like, control. And there are some things, like your own survival, that are more important than being, like, perfect in something. But I don't know. And things like glue, like some glue is not vegan. One thing that took me, like, maybe at least a year or maybe longer was toothpaste. Because, like, regular toothpaste is not vegan. And I was like... It took me a while, first of all, to realize that. But then even after I realized it, I don't know. I had some trouble switching my toothpaste into vegan ones, because I tried some and I just didn't like them. But eventually I found one I liked, and then I was able to do the switch. But at first I was very fussy about the toothpaste. But then, like, yeah. And some things that I choose to do, which like vary from vegan to vegan, I choose to like buy secondhand clothes that might have wool in them, for example. I know some people, like some vegans, don't want to like own or wear anything that has any animal product in them, and that's totally fine. But I just don't want anyone to be like worried about having to be perfect. Like you can make your own choices with it. I guess that's my point. What do you think, Sasha?
Yes, that's a very good point. And yes, I do. I have the same thing with like secondhand clothes, because for me it's very like, I see veganism in also this very like within the capitalist system.
Yeah.
So for me it's about where my money goes. So that's like, for me that's the most important thing. Like I don't want to put my money in the animal industry.
Yes.
So for me, for example, if I buy secondhand clothes, I don't really like fur in general, because I can smell that it's an animal. But again, also if you buy secondhand fur, I'm like totally fine with it. I just kind of like, I can feel it. But other stuff, wool, silk, like I will buy it secondhand. I don't really care, because my money is not going to animal industry. But also I understand that some people see it as like if I wear fur, it's like I'm promoting fur. I understand that. That's a valid point. So, but also, if you do love the look of fur and then you buy secondhand fur, I also think it's a very good way to also like give another life to that product, since it's already been made. Like, if you're gonna wear something, sure, if you like this, wear this. It's secondhand. You didn't give your money to the person who produces this fur. So if you really want to wear a fur jacket, don't please buy it from the fur manufacturer. Buy it secondhand, because that has already been manufactured and worn, and now it's just there. So sometimes, there are things that I just sometimes don't know that aren't vegan. So I'm gonna use it, and then sometimes somebody will tell me, or like I will read it somewhere, and I will be like, oh my god, does this also contain animal products? And that is also like, sometimes it's overwhelming. Once you start learning how many things actually contain animal products, it feels like, okay, I just can't do anything, because everything contains animal products. Or like, if it doesn't contain animal products, then it might be tested on animals and stuff like that. So it's very difficult, and it's impossible to be 100% vegan, and it's very difficult to be like as vegan as possible. So these things are gradual, and also in some places you have to make choices.
Yes.
And yes, I totally agree with the medicine thing. Please do not take medicine. And also there was like one activist that has said it very well, that if you're sick and you're not well, you can't help the animals. Yes. So please take care of your own health, and then you're healthy enough to take care of the animals. So please buy your medicine if you need it to keep yourself healthy, so you can actually, be vegan and be an activist and help the animals. And yes, I do, like, I don't even check the medicine ever, because that's one thing I kind of choose to not even... I mean, of course, like the vitamins that I take every day, those I do check. But also, for example, I have like dermatitis, so my skin needs special treatment, and I buy a cream that was prescribed to me, the like exact thing that was prescribed to me by the doctor. I don't know even if it's vegan or not, and I don't bother even checking, because that's like one thing I need for my health. So I choose to be very aware of things that are vegan in other things, but things that are related to my health, I'm just gonna, like, for example, with this cream, I don't even have the alternative. Like, I don't even, there is like no alternative for me to look through, because I was prescribed this one particular thing. And like, I believe that's okay, at least like for me. Yes. But also, like, there's one thing that I don't really like to admit, and if you know me, like, please don't use this against me, but I will, like, if I get free sweets that are not vegan, I will eat them. Like, if somebody who doesn't know I'm vegan will give me a milk chocolate, I'll eat it. If somebody, like, offers me, like, buns that are not vegan, sometimes I'll eat them. If this person did not know that I'm vegan, if you know that I'm vegan, but you will give me, or like you buy me milk chocolate because you don't care, because you know that I will still eat it, don't do that, that's mean.
Yeah.
But I love sweets, and sometimes I like, that is just this one thing that my willpower is not strong enough to say, like, no thank you, or like, you know, if something is already given to me and it, like, I already have it, I'm like, okay, well, this person was really nice to me. They don't know that I'm vegan. They gave me this little chocolate candy and it's really delicious, so I'm just gonna eat it. So yeah, there are things where, like, this is like something I don't like to admit because I feel like a bit guilty. I feel like it's a bit against my principles, but also, like, we're all human, and
yeah, I think it's really good to admit these things. And yeah, like, I've definitely had these moments when I haven't been 100% sure if something I've been giving is vegan, and then I sometimes I'm like, okay, no, but sometimes I'm like, I think I'm gonna have it. So it's like, but I think, like, what matters is the choices we make in our everyday life, and the constant choices. Like, if, I don't know, a few times a year you make a different choice, the impact of all your other choices is so much bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, but I think that, yeah, the reason I don't, like, always like to say that, because I am afraid that my non-vegan friends or family will use that to then not care about what they give me, because they were like, oh, well, if she's given this, she'll eat it anyway. So, like, again, if you know of, like, for example, if you gave somebody who is vegan, who you didn't know was vegan, you gave them something and they ate it, and then they realized it wasn't vegan, and they were like, oh, this contains honey, oh, whoops, okay, I don't actually eat honey, and, like, and that person would be like, but it's fine, I already had it, it's fine, thank you anyway, you're really nice, like, blah, blah, blah. Don't be like, oh, okay, so this person was okay with eating honey, like, I'm just gonna keep giving them this thing, because it's not like they're gonna care. I don't know if this example was really clear,
yes,
but, like,
yeah, I get it.
Like, sometimes a person will be like, oh, it's fine, it's not a big deal, and you're like, oh, it's not a big deal, okay, sure, I'm just not gonna care. Like, no, it is actually, if a person is vegan, it is a big deal for them. So even if they told that to you, they were just being polite, or, like, they don't want to make a big deal of something they've already eaten.
Yeah.
Like,
or feel like more bad about it themselves either, like, than they have to. But they still...
Yes.
They have still made this choice.
But it's still important to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please, like, don't use that against vegans.
No.
Because, again, that pressures everybody to be perfect in what they do. And also that is, like... Yeah. That's impolite.
Yes.
Yeah. I have, like, one last thing that I want to address. Do you have anything?
No, feel free, please.
Yeah. So I just want, like, to make a point that we think, well, I'm sure you think so too, that still being vegan is a privilege, and we know that not everybody can do that. And also there are, like, things that are very problematic within the movement.
Yes.
And there are also, like, there is, like, in this episode we're talking about animal cruelty, but there's also a lot of ways how humans who, like, grow your food are also treated very unethically. So I just want to say that in no way that, like, there are foods that we eat that are vegan but are still produced very unethically, and animal welfare is not in no way more important than human welfare. So, like, I just wanted to address that, like, we understand that, so because I know, like, there is this problem in the vegan movement that sometimes, like, among some people within the movement, that they don't really consider the humans who produce their food.
Yeah.
Because they're so... because the point of the movement is animal welfare, which also, of course, like, you pick your battles and you can't solve all the problems, but also I think it's very important to realize that, like...
Yes, okay. I know what you're saying. Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like becoming vegan doesn't make you exempt of, like, there are other ethical problems with the food industry. This is not the only one. And yes. Yeah, that's a good...
And they're very important to not ignore.
Yes.
Also.
But today we were talking about veganism, so... But it is a good point to make. Thank you.
Yes. But also that we also understand that not everybody can become vegan, and that's also okay. Yes. Like, everybody's health is like also important, and also there is like economic situation, there is like where you live, and also there are like a lot of countries where, or like communities where the animal industry is completely different from what we were talking about. So I think it's also like important to also know what's happening in your community and see where you're helping this. So we are talking from like the experience of people who, you know, live in the city, in the Western country where like animal industry is the way it is. Yes. So this is how we are trying to influence this community, but in no way like we are saying that everybody in the world has to eat the way we eat.
Yeah, this isn't like a one fit thing.
Yes, exactly.
So true.
So yeah, just I thought that was like a very important thing to address.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. But okay, should we then go to the question of the week?
Yes, absolutely. And let me just get it here. So, Tomke and Jonah sent us a question. Is there something you avoid drawing? For me, it's hands, as for so many of us, I guess. I mean, hands is a good one. Do you have some things that you avoid drawing?
Yeah, I mean, I do hate drawing hands and feet, but I can't really avoid drawing them, like when I draw people. Of course, yeah, I make them very simple. But yeah, I pretty much hate all the hands that I draw. I need to like work on that. But yeah, but I think in general, like the way that I draw faces, in one way it's like my style, but also I think I developed that style to avoid drawing faces. Like all of my faces look the same. So even when I draw portraits, I try to use all the other features of the person, and their face is like not, it's not the thing that is recognizable. So I think, I'm really scared of drawing faces because, you know, faces are so unique. Everyone's face is so different. And I think I do like this kind of like not non-realistic illustration, but I think there is still a way to make this cartoonish or like, you know, non-realistic kind of illustration to still have a face that resembles a person.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'm avoiding to even trying to learn that because it's so scary.
Yeah, I think for me,
what about you?
I do draw hands, but mine are also like very simplified, but I'm not very scared of them because I'm fine with them looking a bit, you know, crappy and simple. It's fine. It suits me just fine. But I think just in general, I have a very narrow range as far as like subjects that I draw. So I think I avoid drawing a lot of things. Like I don't really draw buildings a lot. I don't draw I don't draw like pretty much anything three-dimensional, like any objects or like bigger constructions or rooms really even, or I mean there are a lot of things that I very, very rarely draw. But I think like one of the most, I think just like drawing a whole scenery instead of like just a character with a plain background or something is maybe like the thing I'm scared of and avoid the most. Even though I really would like to get better at it, and I can't do that if I don't practice, so I think that's my main thing.
Yeah. It would be nice to learn to not avoid trying things, but actually like challenge yourself more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the question, and thank you everyone for sending us questions, and please keep them coming.
Yes.
Yeah, we love answering your questions. It feels like a conversation.
Yeah, it's really nice. How is your drawing, by the way?
Well, oh, yeah. I mean, it's almost finished, maybe.
Yeah?
But I mean,
Oh!
it's just a pattern, so.
It's really pretty. Very cute little blobs. Yeah, I love the colors you happen to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to color some of those red blobs because I dropped my red pencil. So I kind of stopped using that. So maybe like in the end, the balance is a bit off because I couldn't use the red pencil anymore. And I didn't want to climb under my table while recording. So yeah, but I'll try to save it once we are done recording.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm done. I think it turned out super cute.
Oh my god, that's really pretty.
Thanks.
I love it.
Yeah, and it was so fun to like just try to fill the whole page. I kind of filled the whole page with just these leaves of different sizes and shapes, and in the end I went with these tiny leaves all around. But yeah, this was so fun to freehand these leaves.
It's really pretty. Oh, this could be like a postcard or a poster or something.
Oh, well, I'll have to see when I scan it. Yes. Nice. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our episode this week. I hope this was nice. Maybe you learned something, or maybe you felt like, I don't know, maybe these things were familiar and you got some support from fellow vegans. Who knows?
Yeah. And this might have been a bit too long because we are really passionate about this topic, so we can't really shut up. It's food. I mean, like we talk to each other about food all the time.
We do.
Yes. But yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks for all of your support and sharing our podcast and subscribing on, or like supporting us on Patreon, and everything that you do is amazing. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yes, see you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Drawing Club podcast.
You can follow us on Instagram at Drawing Club Podcast, or email us at drawingclubpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also find me, Mia, on Instagram at mia.minerva and on YouTube as Mia Minerva. Sasha, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Sasha_Kretova.
This podcast was created by us, Mia Minerva and Sasha Kretova.
Olli Arni created the theme song and assisted with the recording, and Dmitry Zherbin took care of audio mastering.
Welcome to the club, friends.